Grab your favorite beverage. It's time for Porch Therapy with Edward Deano and Keith Villere. Okay, Edward, we're back on a podcast, a porch podcast, actually. Good to see you today.
Good to see you.
How are things going?
Things are going real well, and like I wanted to mention, I think we should acknowledge how well the Tigers are doing. LSU's still number 3.
Still number 3, and had a good game against Florida last week.
They did. The defense was real good.
I went to a lot of football games when I was at LSU. I love football at LSU. I haven't been lately though, but anyway, we are. It's just there's so many crazy things happening on a national level. I don't know what to talk about other than, something that came out was a report, I guess, from the New York Times on the corruption in Trump's administration, particularly in Trump. I don't understand crypto. I think we need to have somebody on one day that really explains what crypto is and what that whole...
And why we need a strategic reserve.
Yeah.
I feel a lot safer today than I did under the Biden administration when we didn't have a crypto reserve.
The crypto reserve is just to make sure that Trump's crypto is protected.
Yeah, and I think he represents criminals too. They need to have some services. The Democrats in the Senate in particular are aware of what's going on, but the Republicans still seem to just go with anything, and I just don't understand it. And I saw some things this week about the 4 swing states, in particular Arizona and Pennsylvania. They have had more Republican sign-ups than Democrats. Pennsylvania has had over 110,000 more Republicans sign up than Democrats. And if you look at, he's underwater, Trump is underwater in most everything. Everything he's doing, people, the polls are against him, but the Republicans are all with him. Yeah.
And they're getting more Republicans to sign up in these swing states, which is, to me, unbelievable. I don't understand it because of the fact that the corruption that he is doing in this administration is unprecedented. Mm-hmm. I read an article today that it was more than the Teapot Dome scandal.
Yeah, they were comparing it. This thing with the crypto thing with the
but there's no oversight and there's no DOJ that can do anything. So it's really mind-boggling the amount of corruption. He's worth $7 billion more in 9 months as president than he was before. And you look at some of these older books from that have been written on the corruption that he was doing. There's a lot of allegations for the Trump corporation did a lot of money laundering. They built these condominiums, and then they let people buy them for cash, and they bought multiple units, and he was just an opportunity for oligarchs around the world to money launder, according to some of these.
It's astounding that we have a billionaire populist that somehow has attracted the everyday guy. It's really it speaks well of his grifter ability. He's in some ways you have to say he's like an idiot savant. He's not much at governing, but gee whiz, in politics.
John Kennedy did a lot. Television was just coming on when he was running for office and in debates. And he was like, he controlled that whole media. Now we have Trump, who is controlling internet. And all the internet
You know, I mean, he has his own internet. Twitter basically is controlled by Musk, so, you know, all these oligarchs that are out there that are actually running the government. You know, how many are in his cabinet that are oligarchs?
Well, the cabinet sure isn't looking too good. I mean, good grief.
What happened to that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, like I call her Pam, the Attorney General, Pam Blondie.
Well, Pam Blondie will be an oligarch before it's all over.
Oh, she's going to do well. And, I mean, she's no Matt Gaetz now. But I think her hate speech, her hate speech kind of went off the rails, because I don't know how she'd define hang Mike Pence. I mean, that sounds kind of like hate speech to me.
I think so. I think a lot of what Trump has said about Democrats and about liberals and, you know, communists and was hate speech.
Well, I wonder how she feels about pardoning the hang Mike Pence crowd. I mean,
1,500. They all got pardoned.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Back the blue.
You can't get much more hate speech than hang Mike Pence and bringing the news to the Congress. I mean, I'm glad they're not going to tolerate that anymore. I mean,
that was such a dark time. Oh no, they are they're not colorblind for sure, but they're blind to anybody on the Republican side. It's only Democrats that are evil.
Well, it's really this last week, and of course it was really unfortunate and terrible. The killing of Charlie Kirk. What was real unfortunate, there was a real opportunity, is that the day before, a Nazi killed 2 kids.
Yep.
I mean, in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I mean, so you had a right-wing motivated killing of children the day before this, and it should have been compared to the violence on both sides.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to politicalize it and make it for your own, use this horrible event for your own political gains, the nation could have benefited by looking at both of these terrible events that were committed by both sides of the spectrum. That could have been a real benefit. But
well, you know, I saw. I mean, there was that state legislator and her husband.
Yeah.
That were killed
in Minnesota.
And Trump was like, I don't even know anything about it.
Well, he didn't even call the governor. I mean, he said that would have been a waste of time. I mean,
and you know, I'm driving out here today. I see a flag at half mast, you know, flying over a street or road. And it's like, what happened to the sympathy and the recognition of a state legislator who was killed by a Trump supporter?
Yeah, you know, I can't believe that we now live in a country where we're flying the flag at half-staff over the death of a political operative that was unabashedly racist, that mixed, you know, promoted mixing religion and government, and was for cutting off aid to poor people, and was also took the Fifth Amendment in the hearings on the January 6th.
Oh, he was questioned?
He was questioned because he organized buses to go there. And so he took the Fifth Amendment on that, and we're flying flags at half-staff.
Well, and you know, they're thinking he's a grassroots organization. He is funded by some big money.
Yeah.
Big money.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's absolutely true. But to try and elevate him, and like I said, one of the things I do have to give him credit for, that I agree with him, and it's probably the only thing I agree with him, is he believed in the conflict of ideas. He believed that it should be talked out. He believed that people should debate, and the best ideas win. And I agree with that, and I think that was really healthy.
He did, and he was, you know, trying to. I mean, they were trying to get
a whole new young group, and I think he was very effective.
Yeah.
And they actually did get a lot of support for Donald Trump through his efforts in college campuses.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there were people lined up to go to. I heard of people in my city who pulled over off the side of the road and started crying when they heard he was killed.
Well, you know, I mean,
it's horrible that a death and somebody was killed like that. That's a horrible situation.
it is. But, you know, and they agreed with what he had to say. I don't agree with it, but at least he reached people. People thought more of public events. I didn't agree with any of it. To see people kind of motivated, I think it was very unfortunate, the things that he espoused. And I think it was very horrible what happened to it.
And one of the good things that he did was he wanted everything about Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, say the magic word.
Let's take a break. Okay, Edward, we're back. And we left it at Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, you know, before we roll on to that, I wanted to finish a thought about the state the country is in the reaction to the Kirk shooting and killing. And, you know, we mentioned this fellow was involved took the Fifth Amendment on January 6th stuff. He was an election denier, saying, you know, a complete false narrative that was dangerous to our democracy. And we're flying the flags at half-staff for a political operative. But in addition to that, we've sent Air Force Two to bring his body with the vice president from Utah to Arizona. And this is an administration that wouldn't even go to the airport to receive the bodies of fallen soldiers.
Service members, yeah.
It's just astounding. I can't believe that this country is
well, they're getting ready to put a statue to him in the House or the Congress.
Oh my God!
You know, they want to. I'm sure that we're going to have. Maybe we'll have a day off for his birthday or maybe his death day. I'm not sure.
I don't know. But you just you might want to pass on an announcement.
Yeah, evidently I just heard that Jimmy Kimmel's show has been canceled. And you know, that's just part of the whole effort of the Trump administration to be able to stop any political discourse. And it's amazing that these large multi-billion groups who run media are all now oligarchs, and the oligarchs are running the country.
Yeah. You know, and I want to just take this opportunity to assure our thousands of viewers on Instagram, and I think I can speak for you, Keith, that we will not be intimidated here at Porch Podcast, and that we're gonna stay the course and tell the truth.
We're not doing any hate speech that I know of.
There's a little peeve speech. A little annoyed speech.
Well, yeah, it's annoying. I'm sure it's annoying to Pam Blondie. Anyway, so Jeffrey. Go back to Jeffrey.
Yeah, let's get back to Jeffrey.
We can't forget the fact that Charlie Kirk wanted all those files to be released.
Yeah, and too bad he wasn't around to hear the head of the FBI say there weren't any files.
You know, that's the most interesting thing. I saw some of that yesterday.
Yeah.
Where the FBI director said there was nobody that that Epstein trafficked to.
Right.
It was just him.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Yeah. And you know, Ghislaine Maxwell said that yes, they had trafficked it to members of the cabinet.
The cabinet members.
That's what Ghislaine Maxwell said. And so you've got two very credible people, Ghislaine Maxwell and Kash Patel, and I don't know which one.
I mean, she's in a country called prison as a result of her
She got moved to the prison, so you might want to think maybe she's more telling the truth. But she got, and I don't know, someone said they thought they saw her picking up trash on the Covington Highway.
Well, you know, the rumor was that they gave a work release, but I think that was parody.
Yeah, I think that.
I think it was funny. Somebody making a joke.
But the idea that Kash Patel, who they have just made a cause of getting to the list, would come out and say there's nobody.
Well, he was beforehand said, we got the little black book. And
Yeah.
the little black book had
Right.
all these people, which evidently, according to Maxwell...
Can you believe that Bill Clinton and Barack Obama and John Kerry weren't involved in this? I mean, they really threw in the towel big time.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that they put all those resources, you know, how many thousand FBI agents, how many hours they put in to redact Trump's name from everything, and then they wouldn't release it. I mean, it's like, why not release all those black marks? They spent a lot of time, a lot of our money.
To redact Trump's name.
To redact his name, and then they're like, well, you know,
Anyway, Patel said yesterday that there was no more information to release.
Nothing else to release. It's all over. Let's not do anything. But we're going to keep it going here on a Porch podcast.
Yeah, we're not.
Because Jeffrey Epstein, I mean, I want to see Democrats, Republicans, independents. I want to see everybody who broke the law and trafficked young women. I think it's horrible.
Well,
it's a horrible
they are the victims.
Yeah.
And what horrific actions against the victims have been completely forgotten in this. I mean, it's just,
you know, it's
I'm
typical.
just astounded with it.
Yeah.
And I'm just, anyway.
It's typical of, you know, Trump has had 27 women accuse him of some sort of sexual abuse. One has been proven and in the courts. And it was interesting to see the victims get together on Capitol Hill and said, we're going to make up our own list. I can't wait to see that one.
You know, yeah. Something you just said, I don't know, it sparked a receptor in my mind from a transmitter. But I find this astounding, and this is off the subject, but we have now people that the president feels are not in line with his philosophy have all committed mortgage fraud. You know, now, I think it's fascinating that he's been found guilty of overstating the collateral and the value of his collateral in filing for getting financing. He's been found that he's done that. I mean, the courts have found that he did exactly the same thing that he will not tolerate in government.
Won't tolerate it with anybody that has criticized him.
He's also basically looted John Bolton's house, and I have to say, if they're going to loot anybody's house, he's the guy to do it. But because of the bad keeping of classified documents. Now, and that's something Trump will not tolerate. I find it incredible that he would go after people for the same thing that he's been indicted for, and sometimes found by the courts that he's done.
Well, you know, it's interesting that
Makes me want to have another drink.
It's really unfortunate that Biden had a DOJ director, you know, what was his name? Anyway, he waited so long to do anything, to hire Jack Smith to come in.
Yeah.
He waited so long that nothing was able to be finalized. And of course, you know, you get a Trump judge down in Florida who throws it out. She's in line to be the next.
Oh, that's my pick for the next Supreme Court in case it's going to be that judge down in Florida.
But just the idea that Merrick Garland was not able to bring some of these things early on. It's really unfortunate.
The Democrats really fumbled the ball. And the same thing, you know,
same thing with Epstein.
Well, and the same thing in Georgia. They're what's her name?
Fannie Lewis.
Fannie
Lewis.
Lewis. But she had the best case. Plus, it's a case that couldn't be pardoned. It was a state case.
Yeah.
She also had the support of the governor, the Republican governor. He watched her back not to have her removed, and she just blew it. I mean, she just blew it.
There were so many mistakes made, but even with Epstein, the Democrats had the opportunity with Biden and Merrick Garland to be able to release some of these records, and they just dropped the ball. And I don't know why. I mean, I hope one day somebody writes a book about that.
Well, I heard Patel, who looks crazy, by the way.
You got to look at which eyes.
I mean, but anyway, he went on and on about how the Democrats, how they were complaining, the Democratic senators were complaining when it was Democratic administrations that hadn't prosecuted, and then the next day we find out from him there was nothing to prosecute.
Well, that's true. Isn't that something?
And that's just astounding.
But I don't know why.
He really thinks we're stupid.
Well,
he really.
I think he understands that his. What did Trump say this week? He said something about. What did he say?
Well, he said he was going to lower prescription drugs by 1,500%.
Oh yeah,
which means they'd pay us to buy them.
There's all that, but he said something about smart people don't like me. I think was his quote.
Oh, I love it. Well, the polls show that. I mean, educated people don't like it.
That was pretty telling.
Yeah. Well, also he's concerned that he's not doing well to go to heaven. I mean, that he's having trouble getting into heaven. But I thought that was kind of telling too.
Well, I think he was feeling bad. His legs were swelling and he had all these bruises on his hands.
I don't know.
He's 70. How old is he?
79.
He's an old guy. But it's amazing that everybody around him is on the same page. And even when he had the tech people in, they were all just gushing over him, which was just really.
I mean, it's embarrassing.
It is
to see foreign leaders just fawn all over him. Everyone knows they're playing him like a fiddle. Well, everybody knows that.
They understand how to.
Yeah, they all understand.
We're going to take another break because we need to refresh our drinks. Yeah. Well, we just had a little break and we looked at some Instagram posts on Jimmy Kimmel. Evidently, he has been indefinitely postponed because he said who knows what, but it's all this about I don't know. It's a crazy world out there, and the oligarchs who run media are now controlling everything. So you have to look at podcasts like this to really find out what's happening. So, what's happening, Edward?
Well, I think we can say with relative certainty that we're going to hold off any attempt to buy us out by a big oligarch.
Oh no, I would sell out tomorrow.
Well, I think one thing. This has occurred to me on the Trump situation with Jimmy Kimmel was terminated because of his comments that he made, a lot using Trump film clips of Trump himself in Trump's own words.
Yeah,
that were and showed it for what he was, about how ridiculous Trump is. That he was terminated. And one of the things I think we should remember about Trump in this situation is that Trump was shot at him and hit himself. I mean, that was a real trauma, and I can understand why somebody who had suffered that close a call himself might be really affected by this event with a friend of his. However, it's just one more case. That doesn't mean that we should have a president that behaves that way. It's an excuse for why he behaves that way. But we shouldn't. I mean, Trump's damaged goods.
Yeah, but it was interesting.
He had emotional traumas apparently as a child and growing up and whatever.
Had to.
And this is just one more. And it just makes him even, I think, less competent. He's devoid of grace. He's devoid of any type of empathy. He's not the type of leader that we can need to heal this country.
No, I mean, he's, excuse me, he is dividing us on an unprecedented level. Excuse me. It's really sad what's happening. But it was interesting that Jimmy Kimmel, I think it was Monday night, who did a little bit on Trump's response to the Kirk killing. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm okay, and look at the big ballroom we're building."
Yeah, the question was, how are you holding up?
Exactly.
You know, having lost a friend, and how are you holding up under all of this? And you're right. The answer was, I'm doing fine. Look at that build they adding on to the ballroom.
And they were saying, and Jimmy Kimmel was saying, well, it's like a 4-year-old who lost a goldfish.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he got removed from. And it is alarming.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, that the conglomeration and the oligarchs that now own the media is owned by people that own interest in different industries and other things that can be regulated, not just the media. So they have to worry about what will happen to them and their other business enterprise.
Because he's vindictive and he's going to go after you if you do anything against him. And so they're into making money for their stockholders.
Yeah. It's you know, I don't know how it's going to all turn out, and the cast of characters that we're depending on now, I think, is really interesting. I think we're dependent on the courts to a certain degree. We're depending on clear-thinking Republicans. We're depending on the public, which, by the way, in certain areas is being very impressive. I mean, the fact that they can't get indictments from grand juries in Washington, D.C. and L.A.
The guy who threw the poor boy couldn't get indicted.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the segments of society that are reacting to this threat to our way of life.
Well, it's interesting that the judges on a local and appellate level are pretty much ruling against Trump in a lot of matters. But then you get to the Supreme Court and they reverse everything.
You know, that's true. And I think the elephant in the room is the tariffs.
Yeah.
And they're even, you know, there's been some calculations as to how much money the federal government will have to return.
Oh yeah, if
the lower courts are upheld.
Yeah.
And not only was the lower appellate court ruled it was illegal, but the commercial court ruled that it was illegal. I mean, the Supreme Court's going to have to really stretch it to find that these tariffs were legal.
But a lot of what the Supreme Court has been doing lately has been the docket. What do they call it? It's not
right. It's a quick docket, and there's no opinion.
There's no opinion.
Yeah.
They just say this is the way it is, and boom, you know, there's no opinion. There's no explanation, and of course, it's many times it's been sided with Trump. I mean, they gave him the opportunity to be able to shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, and as long as it's a official act, he's okay. And that's. It's just amazing what's happening right now. I mean, this is going to be studied by, if they allow it to be studied, in civics classes in the future as to what is happening right now, unprecedented authoritarianism, lack of democracy. And the three branches of government, you know, we have an authoritarian in the executive branch. Mm-hmm. We have in the Congress, they're not interested in any oversight.
Eunuchs.
And then now we have the Supreme Court that's basically siding with him on many cases. It's really going to take a while to straighten out. And still, Republicans are in favor of this guy, and I just don't understand that.
Well,
Christians.
I'll make this. I'm gonna make this comment, and then I'm gonna get back to what you just said. I think the military occupation of the center of Democratic votes within a year of the midterms elections, it's pretty transparent that if you can intimidate voter turnout in the Democratic cities, it's going to impact particularly the Senate races.
There's no doubt.
So I think that's a lot what's going on. And the reports you hear is that he's obsessed. Trump's obsessed with the off-year elections, which makes sense because, I mean, if either house or both houses are flipped, you're going to have investigations into all this stuff he's been doing. He will, if the House flips, he's going to be impeached again.
No.
And I mean, and we know he'll lead an insurrection. I mean, we know that. So the fact that he has sent troops into the blue voting centers of several states, I think is transparent as far as what's going on. I had a kind of I'm going to get back to what you were saying earlier about what's going on here. And this weekend, or during this, since our last podcast, I kind of stumbled upon a program or some type of video that was produced by our Senator John Kennedy. Mm-hmm. And it was very much about how much he had taken on a liberal talking head and how he prevailed and all that type of stuff. But the theme was, and I think you and I can probably identify with it, the theme was, the thing that he grabbed people and brought them in, as to how much Southerners are looked down upon. Mm. And he repeated it over, just because I talk slow doesn't mean I think slow. And I think there's a real play on the whole feeling, not just of Southerners for sure, but of other classes of people, from rural people, from other people, from working class people that have felt like that they have been looked down upon by elites. They are effectively using that to get people to vote against their own economic interests. Yeah. And, by the way, no one's voting for their economic interests. You and I aren't voting for our economic interests.
No, not if you make any money.
Yeah, we don't vote for our economic interests. And these people that we're talking about aren't voting for their economic interests. It's all, the issues are much different now than they were even 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's really, it's amazing to see that, just the whole rhetoric of the Republican Party is anti-poor. Mm-hmm. All of the
not just the rhetoric.
The bad, beautiful bill.
I mean, the actions are the things that are offensive to the poor, not the rhetoric.
Right, and you're taking away health care, you're taking away education, you're taking away food, and
child care.
And people are voting for that because
of culture issues.
And guns.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, next week, we are going to
get to the bottom,
do a deep dive into the corruption and understand and help you understand what this whole crypto coin and crypto scam is all about. But if you want to, if you want to send us a message, if you want to ask a question, we'll read it on the Porch Podcast. aporchpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a line, and we'll see you next week. Peace out. That beautiful music is Zach Villere. Check him out on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your music.